We speak the truth, we're honest, and we give takes on professional wrestling. It is Wednesday night, April 24th, 2024, and this is your AEW Dynamite review here on the Big Fight Field channel. And joining me tonight, he's on here occasionally for AEW Dynamite reviews, back tonight to talk about a pretty big episode of Dynamite, man. That angle to end the show is going to be talked about for days in the wrestling community. But Wes, what is going on, dude? How are you doing? And first up, what did you think of the pay-per-view? But importantly, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, Joseph. Great to be back on the Field channel talking AEW content, AEW Dynamite tonight. This was this past Sunday. It's in the rear mirror. I got the chance to watch it this past Sunday night here at home, and very solid show all around. And man, the one thing I can really say is Ospreay Danielson, thing of absolute wrestling beauty. I mean, if you're out there and you didn't get a chance to watch this match, I highly suggest you go out of your way and try and find this match somewhere. I'm sure you can find it somewhere on the internet. It's floating around. You can probably don't have to purchase the whole replay of the pay-per-view, anything. Just go find it wherever you can on any kind of streaming platform or whatever the case may be. Please watch this match because by far and away, one of the greatest matches I think I've ever seen in my entire life. By far and away, match of the year up to this point. I don't even know if there's going to be another match that tops that this year. I'm being honest, I don't know if there's going to be another match. I mean, if it does, I'll be shocked, but I don't know. I think Ospreay Danielson just topped everything that could happen the rest of this year, man, because that was unreal. Dynasty, very solid show around. We got to see new world champion and Swerve Strickland be crowned. Very well deserved there. They had to capitalize off the momentum that he had. Now was the time. Samoa Joe, I tip my cap to you, sir. Good solid about a 3-month reign he had, and Samoa Joe held his own. Samoa Joe's legit. We all know it, and he's definitely the kind of guy you can put a title on, and he brings more prestige to it, man. He's that kind of guy. And he's a true professional all around. And so it was great to see him and Swerve go out and see Swerve get his crowning moment at Dynasty this past Sunday night. Wish you could have made the show live. Plans, that schedules weren't really lining up for me and my group. So, but hopefully I'll make it to an AEW pay-per-view at some point. But I got to see some fellow Cardinal fans in the crowd too. So shout out to St. Louis. That was great to see. But we're here to talk AEW Dynamite tonight, Joseph. And man, got a crazy angle to end the show, which we will get into, and other stuff that we will definitely get into as well. That's going to lead up into next week, going into Winnipeg, Canada. So let's get right into it.
I'm excited, man. There was a lot of good stuff that happened tonight. There's also some stuff that I was not really a fan of, and we're going to talk about that all and whatnot tonight. But I thank you guys so much for joining me and Wesley here tonight on the Big Fight Field channel. We are on the grind. We have been taping every single day since Friday, previewing the NBA playoffs, then Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Today is Wednesday. We don't stop here on the Big Fight Field channel. We keep producing content. We got so much more. Be sure to subscribe, check out other content on the Big Fight Field channel, and check out last night, episode 1 of Chopping It Up with Cameron Johnson and Escobar Morales, talking all things WWE. Be sure to go ahead and check out that podcast. It'll be up in the last 20 seconds of the video. All you have to do is click on the link or click on the video when it appears at the end, and it'll take you right to the video. So, you ready to talk some AEW Dynamite? I mean, we really don't have much news to get into with AEW. Basically, everything that the news happened was on Sunday, so.
Yeah, let's get into it.
So, tonight, they were from Jacksonville. I love Daly's place. That place is so unique, dude. I was there last year for a Jaguars game, and that stadium is really unique. Would love to go see a wrestling show someday there. Really, very much unique. Audio issues in the beginning of the show, but it is what it. I'm not gonna complain because it's just very minor. The show started with Orange Cassidy's music. He got attacked by Trent. So Trent is in the ring attacking Orange Cassidy, and he brings out Chuck Taylor and he says, he has to give his ultimatum right now. Is he going to pick Orange Cassidy, or is he going to pick Trent? And Chuck was very hesitant. He got on the microphone and he was like, Trent, I always thought you were a piece of shit. And he attacked Trent, and Trent escaped, and Chuck wanted to get cleared. And eventually, later on in the night, Chuck did get cleared because on Saturday, Rampage, for those that are going to be watching, it's going to be Chuck Taylor versus Trent in a parking lot brawl. So that should be fun Saturday night. I don't know what to make of this, Wes. I can't really get excited about this heel turn for Trent because this whole best friends thing, um, it's gone stale for a long time, in my opinion. They should have been broken up. Um, but it feels like they were broken up because they have nothing for the best friends to do. And I don't know where Trent goes after this. Is Trent going to come out on top in this feud? That's why I really can't get invested in this, because I don't see Trent, of all people, as, at least a solid mid-card guy in AEW. What do you think of all of this feud, this angle to begin the show tonight?
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I'm not really sure how to feel about it right now. I would assume going into Double or Nothing next month, we're going to get Trent versus Orange Cassidy in a one-on-one match, at least the singles match. I don't know if they have a stipulation to it at all. Yeah, I mean, this is kind of long overdue for the best friends to separate because, again, they're doing a whole lot of nothing these days. And yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't still know there's enough fan engagement or fan investment there. For Trent Beretta. I mean, Trent's a very underrated wrestler. I give him all the credit. He whenever he's called on to have a good singles match with like a top guy on the roster or whoever, he delivers. I remember, even when AEW first started and Trent was doing some singles action. I mean, he was putting on great matches with Kenny Omega, John Moxley. I mean, he was putting on some really solid matches, but I just don't know if Trent, even with this heel character, if it will work enough to engage the fans even more. And yeah, I mean, you asked a good question: is Trent going to come out on top in this feud, or is Orange just going to get the win at Double or Nothing, and then Trent's is going to be kind of in the background and maybe just probably will make appearances every now and then on like Rampage or Collision or something. It's definitely stuff to think about. I just don't know if I'm at a point right now where I can be like completely invested. I hope as we lead up into Double or Nothing, which I'm expecting Trent and Orange to go at it at the pay-per-view. I'm hoping as we lead up, we'll start to engage a little bit more into this and we can sink our teeth into something more. It seemed like Trent really didn't give that much of a great reason, like not that elongated of a reason as to why he turned. He kind of was just like, he did say like Orange was kind of holding him and Chuck back for years, and it's like that was kind of an explanation. But
I mean, we hear that from everybody, though.
right, yeah, that's kind of the typical like heel promo where it's like, oh, you held me back and all that. I mean, I like a great heel turn is like, you look at Chad Gable in WWE, he just turned heel. And he was one by one berating the Alpha Academy. See, that's an effective heel turn to me. Like with Trent, it's like I think a heel turn was not necessarily a bad idea, but again, it's just like how far is this really going to go? How much engagement are you going to have with the fans? Will the fans care? That's the big thing. If the fans don't care, then this will probably be a match on the pay-per-view coming up that people will kind of just not make much noise for, and they'll kind of, I mean, they'll pop for Cassidy because Cassidy's still really over, but again, I don't know what the ultimate end goal is here, and where Chuck goes, I don't know either. It feels like Chuck probably won't be a major player at all either. Again, the best friends have kind of just faded into the background as time goes on, and they're not really in the forefront as much. And I did see that segment too where he was backstage with Chris Statlander, and Statlander confronted him, and then he whispered something in her ear. That probably could lead to something with Chris and her storyline with Willow and Mercedes, but we'll get into that.
We'll get into her later. Into her later.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't have that much investment right now. So
yeah, I'm with you. They have a month to make me care, but I don't know, man. My question is, what's everybody doing when this is over? Like, are they really gonna? I'm not buying them pushing Trent when this is over. I could see them doing something with Orange Cassidy, but I'm not. I like this huge angle with Trent, and he's just gonna lose to Orange Cassidy. I'm just not buying it, man. I'm not buying it. So, that was your opening segment for Dynamite. Swerve Strickland, your new AEW World Champion. He wrestled a match tonight, and he wrestled a match against Kyle Fletcher from the Don Callis family. Um, and Swerve won. The match was really good. Actually thought the match was really good. I don't have a problem with the match. What I do have a problem with is they did this backwards. Tonight, Swerve should have came out, cut a promo. We should have found out who Swerve's going to wrestle a Double or Nothing tonight, not next week. And then next week, you can give us the match with Fletcher. It just really doesn't make sense to me, Wes, how Willow Nightingale got a championship celebration. Chris Jericho got a championship celebration. But Swerve, he had to wrestle tonight. Now, if he wanted to wrestle, I mean, he probably did, to be honest with you. But I've been like, okay, well, tonight we have to set up your feud for the next pay-per-view because we got a pay-per-view in 5 weeks. And then you can wrestle Kyle Fletcher next week. They did it backwards tonight. Uh, I didn't like the fact that he wrestled the show after he just won the world championship. So do you agree with me on this? What did you
Yeah,
think of the match?
I do. Yeah, I definitely agree. And you brought up a good point too, how like Willow and Jericho both got championship celebrations for winning their respective titles. But meanwhile, Swerve, who's the literal AEW World Champion, he just comes out and wrestles a match, and it's like it just doesn't. It feels weird, It's like this should not
Exactly.
be like you just crowned a new world champion, which doesn't happen that often with AEW. Like when it comes to AEW, like they don't crown a world champion you know like very like super often. Like we've only I think I don't know what number champion Swerve is when it comes to like the total AEW
I
World
think
Championship.
it's 8.
It's 8. Yeah, it goes to show you 5 years, only 8 world champions. It goes to show you that like yeah, they don't change the title that often. So I feel like Swerve, yeah, like I agree, he should have come out, cut a promo, probably thanking the fans and thank everybody who stuck with him and going through everything he's gone through to make it to the top. That would have felt really nice to hear that. And then and then we could have gotten the Swerve Fletcher match, like either I guess later in the night or just next week or whatever, and we started to get a setup for his world title feud. So that seeing that just did rub me the wrong way too, and I'm hoping that with Swerve being world champion, they know what they're doing and that they're not just going to make him a forgettable world champion because like Swerve does not deserve that whatsoever, man. The dude is a world class talent. Like he has shown us time and time again why he should be a top guy. He proved that, and that's why he's the world champion right now. So, and as far as the match goes, really good match. I agree. I mean, really good match with Fletcher. Fletcher's super underrated. I've been on his train ever since like him and Mark Davis and the Aussie Open. Ever since they've been wrestling together, I've always been on the Aussie Open train. But really good match. But yeah, I mean, I just hope that that Swerve is going to be put up in a more important pedestal and won't just be fading into the background. Because I mean, when you're the world champion, you're the guy. You have the biggest title in pro wrestling. That's what they call it every week. Biggest title in pro wrestling, most important title in all pro wrestling. You need to make it feel that way. If your champion is kind of fading in the background more, and he gives off that vibe where it's like he doesn't feel that important, then you're not doing your job booking him. Like
I
because
agree.
Swerve is doing what he can. Like, Swerve is going out there killing it in the ring. He can kill it on the mic. And of course Prince Don has dance, of course, super over. Everybody gets into it. Like that, you need to roll with the momentum. You can't just like he won the world title, so it's like now what? All right, now you need to give us challengers. You need to give us compelling stories. That's the big thing that AEW's been lacking on for a long time now is we need compelling stories. We need multiple storylines going to where we can invest into. Like we can't just have, one storyline and then that's the main focus and everything else is kind of just filler. Like we need like multiple storylines to get invested. That's what makes pro wrestling so great is that when you watch a show, you don't just tune in for just one thing, but you can tune in for multiple things to get into. And that way, once you lead up to that pay-per-view, then it's like, oh, wow, we got all these matches set up on the card to be excited over. It's like, oh, we got this guy versus this guy, this girl versus this girl. And I understand the story that they're telling too. Oh man, I hope they get the win here. It's just again, that's the beauty of pro wrestling, is storytelling. So I just hope leading into Double or Nothing, we got a month, so I'm hoping these next 4 weeks that we get something brewing here, and then we see who's next in line to challenge Swerve. So
Yeah, I mean, I'm always a fan of that the world championship needs to be the most important thing on the show, and they can't fiddle that out. I know they got a big angle now that they're doing with the elite, but they can't just fiddle out the world championship and make it feel secondary. You know what I mean? So, um, that's very important. Now, as far as Double or Nothing, I don't know about you, man, but I've seen names on social media to challenge who's going to be the first challenger for Swerve. Is it going to be? It could be Takeshita. It could be Hangman. Maybe Joe again. Who are you thinking to be the first challenger for Swerve? And then I'll give my answer.
Well, to be honest, going into Dynasty, I was thinking that I predicted Swerve would win the world title, and I was thinking after that maybe Hangman could come back and that be his first big challenge right there, because we already know the history between those two guys. I figured Hangman would probably be maybe that guy to come back and maybe blindside Swerve and beat the living hell, really play into more the heel role, because clearly Hangman has kind of switched sides at this point, and especially during their feud together. So, and Hangman, of course, played more of the heel in the triple threat match at Revolution. So, I was thinking Hangman could be the first challenge, which I mean, I already would be invested in that because there's history of those two guys. We know how great those two guys can go at each other in the ring. So, I mean, you already got something of substance there. That's kind of what helped me invest more. As far as anybody else goes, I mean, Kesha is definitely an interesting name, but I don't know. But it seems like from what we saw, and we'll get into it more later when we get into Moxley and Hobbs, but it seems like Kesha's in a bit of a different direction at the moment. So, but I was thinking more so Hangman.
Okay. I would love to see Christian Cage. I think Christian Cage would make a great feud for Swerve at Double or Nothing. There's already a story there. Christian Cage and Swerve lost at All In to Sting and Darby in the coffin match. You can um you could bring up that story and you can make that a story. You could talk about honestly how Nick Wayne is in the patriarchy with Christian Cage. The match is not Nick Wayne versus Swerve, but you could talk about how Swerve made Nick Wayne a changed man since he went into the Buddy Wayne Academy and left him in his own pool of blood. I think that would be a fun one-off. I think Christian Cage deserves it. He did that TNT Championship phenomenal justice, and I think that would be a good feud for Swerve going into Double or Nothing. Christian Cage is not going to win the World Championship, but it'd be a good storyline. I would be invested in the Christian Cage Swerve match.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that would definitely be an interesting for sure. We haven't seen any of Christian Cage ever since he dropped the teeth cell to Adam Copeland. So, it would be nice to see him back on television. And then I still see definitely an eventual face turn again for Luchasaurus, because obviously that they've been teasing that for a long time, where Christian's been just really laying it in on Luchasaurus, but he's been looking at like Nick Wayne as the prize pupil and everything. Christian just doing a great job of being an asshole. And Christian, we already know, cooks on the mic. So, like, the promo battles alone between him and Swerve would be so great. And having Prince Nana there, too, it's like, yeah, no, they'd definitely cook for sure. But yeah, that I like that idea a lot. Again, hopefully we'll see something brewing, because, again, we have 4 weeks until Double or Nothing. We don't have a whole lot of time. So, hopefully they get us invested going into the show.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. All right. So that's our Swerve talk for the night. We had Anna Jay. I apologize if I pronounced his name wrong. Mina Shirakama, I think the name was, against Anna Jay. They had a fine match. Mina won in about 10 minutes with a roll up. She was celebrating with the champagne toast with Mariah May in the ring. Anna Jay attacked Mariah May after the match. This brought out Timeless Tony Storm, and she was checking on Mariah May. Anna Jay, she ran out of the ring. And then Serena Deeb came out. And this is where the audio issues kicked in. Because, dude, I had no idea what Serena Deeb was saying. All I could understand was, I'm coming for the women's championship.
Yeah,
So,
that was basically
I don't know,
this.
man. Heel versus heel for the pay-per-view. I mean, Serena Deeb is awesome. She's not winning the championship. I don't know what to think about it until they have their first segment together, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's interesting for sure. I mean, I'm a big D fan as well. It's great to see her on Dynamite television because it's been way too long since she has been on television too, and it's nice to see her get into a storyline here. Hopefully they build her up well going into the pay per view because this looks like more than likely we're getting her versus Tony for the women's title. Should be a really good match there, but. Match goes to fine match, decent little match, nothing really to criticize much there. I think Mina. Honestly, I was pretty impressed by some of the moves. I never really seen Mina before on Stardom. I know there's people out there that watch Stardom that are more familiar with her work. This is my first exposure to her. Not too bad from what I saw.
Mm-hmm.
Like she could have a pretty good character. Being involved with Mariah May and Tony Storm, of course, still in that whole little group too. So, yeah, we'll see. I mean, I'm looking forward to a Serena Deeb Tony Storm match. It should be good, but I just hope that they tell a good enough story to where we can invest fully into this women's title match, knowing that this is kind of, again, heel versus heel. It's always complicated doing that, but Serena Deeb is legit as they come. So hopefully she makes us a believer for a few weeks.
Yeah, we'll see what happens there. So this was the big women's segment of the night. There's plenty to talk about with this. So you have Stokely and Chris Statlander standing in the ring. They are celebrating Willow Nightingale winning the TBS championship. Willow talks for about 40 seconds, and Mercedes immediately comes out to steal her moment again. I don't know about you, man, but I was pretty mad when Mercedes came out at the pay-per-view because I'm like, okay, they're going to build to this match, but do we really need to see Mercedes on this pay-per-view tonight? I was not happy when she came out. So,
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, it did take away the moment because Willow did beat Julia Hart in that TV title match, and yeah, I mean it's definitely been interesting so far with the way they booked Mercedes. Because it's we haven't seen her wrestle yet. I'm not too big on the fact that she's getting a title shot even though she hasn't wrestled at all. I know it's
no.
Mercedes Moné, but you can't just waltz into a company and just get a title shot because you're somebody. You're a big name.
Yep.
And again, they brought back the ranking system, so it's so you're telling me the ranking system doesn't mean anything again? Because
No, dude, it never meant shit. Are you kidding me?
right, yeah, because Mercedes just waltzes in and it's okay, I want a TBS title shot. Tony Khan's okay, you got it. There's no wrestling involved. No, not at least one match. You
No,
tell me she could one match? I mean, now I know I heard something where she's still hurt right now. She's still injured, but it's why are you doing a title match with her hurt? Going into I just don't get why you're just guaranteeing her a title shot when she's on the shelf still. I just feel like they didn't game plan this that great, It's just
yeah, exactly. I said it 2 weeks ago. I'm like, you couldn't have put her in the ring with Sky Blue for about 5 minutes. That's
right.
all I'm asking for. Is a
Yeah,
match with Sky Blue for 5 minutes.
would have been nice, but I
I
don't know,
mean,
man. AEW has other stuff on the brain, I guess. So,
it would have made sense because Sky Blue was involved with this whole entire feud, so
yeah.
it definitely would have made sense. But she's out here. She's like, I just want to come out here to uh, tell you congratulations. But You're not going to be the champion for long because I'm going to be taking the championship from you at Double or Nothing. And she sounded very heelish here, which I like. She's much better as a heel than she is a baby face. So basically, the story was they rewinded back to last year when Willow injured Mercedes in the New Japan show. Boom, I love it. That's what the story needs to be about between them. They had their match. Willow accidentally injured Mercedes, but tonight Willow uh was Willow was like, "Did you think that I accidentally injured you? Did you think that I accident? Do you think that I injured you on purpose? Do you think that I purposely wanted to injure you in that match? Did you think I purposely wanted to take you away from professional wrestling?" And Mercedes laughed about it, and um, she she was laughing at Willow, and she turned her back to Willow, and Chris Statlander turned Mercedes around, and Mercedes slapped Willow right in the face. And they also were talking about who's this mystery attacker that attacked Mercedes and attacked Willow last week before the mixed tag match. They both mentioned each other. They both Mercedes mentioned Chris Statlander. Stokely mentioned Julia Hart. So they got that tease going on in there, and I liked it. I thought it was good, and yeah, was that Statlander turning Mercedes into Willow? That felt intentional to me. I don't know about you, but to me, that felt like she did that on purpose.
Yeah, it definitely was nice little tease there as to what might come with this storyline. It seems like, I mean, I don't know really what happens right now as far as that TV title match goes. I mean, if Willow just straight up drops the title, I mean, that sucks because she literally held the title for 1 month. I mean, talk about the definition of a transitional champion. That's that. And I just feel like Willow's better than that. I feel like, yeah, I mean, I just wouldn't, I just feels, and again, like Mercedes was just handed a title match. Like, it just doesn't feel right. Like, I like, if Mercedes is playing more into a heel role, and that's good because, like you said, she plays a heel way better than the baby face. And I feel like tonight she came off more natural compared to like some of her previous promos in AEW. I feel like she didn't sound as robotic and in the segment tonight. But yeah, I don't know what goes in the paper. I personally, I believe the attacker is Chris Statlander. I think that's what they're building towards. And I don't know if we get an interference in that match at Double or Nothing. I feel like we probably will. There's going to be something that goes down, but I don't know if I just don't know if we see like a DQ finish. I just feel like that'd be kind of weird too on a pay-per-view, but I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see. I think Mercedes and Will have a really good match. But yeah, the way we got here, I just wish we could have been done differently. I don't know what Mercedes' health status is, but if she could have gotten at least one match, at least one win, I mean, I would have at least been more. I would believe this more and be more. I wouldn't have as much of a problem with her just getting the title shot. But it's it is what it is, I guess. So
Totally, I agree. So we'll see what happens. We got 4 weeks left to build for this match. So they announced this during the show. There's no advertising for this. There was a casino gauntlet, and the winner of this gauntlet was going to face Roderick Strong at Double or Nothing. I had no idea what was going on in this match. It was very unpredictable. This match was great. I loved it. This match was basically Tony Khan saying, okay, this is people I would love to see wrestle Will Ospreay. We're going to put Jay White in there. We're going to put Dante Martin in there. Let's put Penta in there. Hey, let's put Kyle O'Reilly in there. That was the best thing of that entire match was Will Ospreay and Kyle O'Reilly. Their exchange for 2 minutes was awesome. Let's put Jay Lethal in there. The Lance Archer was in the match, I think. I forget who else was, but man, I was actually very shocked to see Will Ospreay in this match.
Yeah.
And Will Ospreay hit the hidden blade on it was Commander. Okay. He pinned Commander, and Will Ospreay is going to the pay-per-view. Will Ospreay is challenging Roderick Strong for the International Championship. And Roddy and the Undisputed Kingdom, they came out after the match, and Roddy got in Will Ospreay's face. So I thought after this match, I'm like, okay, Will Ospreay is going to face Roderick Strong. That match is going to be phenomenal. I can't wait for that match. Roderick Strong, since his days in NXT, has been so underrated. That dude is going to have a banger with Will Ospreay. Now, there was a backstage segment with Don Callis, Will Ospreay, and Kyle Fletcher. And Don Callis, he mentioned, why didn't you hit Kyle with that Tiger Driver? And in storyline, that Tiger Driver injured Bryan Danielson. And Ospreay's like, after what happened on Sunday, I'm never hitting that move again. You saw what it did to Bryan. I could have injured Kyle's neck. He said it doesn't matter if he had 5 neck surgeries. If you hit that move, you hit it. And Kyle Fletcher was like, he won the match, right? And Don Callis is like, you're the last person who should be talking about winning matches after tonight. And then he went off because he's got to go on commentary for Hobbs' match against John Moxley. So it feels like this is the match that the Don Callis family is going to turn on Will Ospreay. But at the same time, I'm like, is Will Ospreay's first loss in AEW going to be against Roderick Strong, who a couple months ago was doing a comedy gimmick, and now he's back to serious, but it's his first loss going to be against Roderick Strong. So I'm going back and forth with it. I really don't know what to think of it. So, what do you think of it, man? I'm conflicted.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. I really did, when it came to this Gauntlet match, I definitely didn't expect Will Ospreay to show up, and I was like, oh wow, okay. As I heard his music hit, and I'm like, okay, well, okay, I guess we got Will Ospreay in here, but yeah, Ospreay. I mean, once he showed up in this match, I figured like there's no way he's losing. He's being catapulted to the top immediately because as he should. The dude is literally arguably the best pro wrestler in the world. Him and Strong should have a great match at Double or Nothing. I'm looking forward to that. I just can't see. I know there's probably going to be some interference from the Undisputed Kingdom. I'm sure they're going to try and get involved in some way, and they're getting Wardlow now to try and kind of clean up the dirty work too and do his part. We saw at Dynasty on Sunday he showed up at the match between O'Reilly and Strong for the international title, but he didn't do anything. He just kind of stood outside and was like distracted O'Reilly for a little bit, but he didn't play any kind of role or whatever. And then also we saw Adam Cole stand up out of the wheelchair, so it looks like he's getting back to being close to being 100%, which is great to see because Adam Cole has been sorely missed on television and being involved in getting wrestling again. And I that look he gave to Wardlow was definitely interesting too at the pay-per-view. But anyway,
Yeah.
you're going back to Will Ospreay though, but I can't see him taking just a clean loss to Strong. I mean, I feel like if he's going to get this title match, I feel like Ospreay should just probably win the title. Even though I honestly saw in the future going into All In, and I still think it could happen, is we get Ospreay to Swerve for the world title at All In. I know that's all the way until August, but that was something I was kind of fantasy booking ahead of time. And but yeah, I mean, I can't see Strong beating Ospreay straight up right now. That match should be great, but I know they've tried to make Strong look good as a champion. He's held that title for a little bit now, but I just think if you got Ospreay in this title match going in Double or Nothing, that I feel like he should just win the title. And we'll see what happens when it comes to interference stuff. I'm sure maybe the Don Callis family will also have a hand in this too. Kyle Fletcher will probably try to help out Ospreay, or Don Callis will probably do something to disturb the peace or whatever. But Yeah, it'll be interesting to see going into the pay-per-view, but yeah, I realistically I can't really see Strong going out on top over Ospreay unless there's some sort of interference, which I don't know. I definitely wouldn't do a DQ finish because the AEW is majority of the time they do clean finishes, so it's like, it's gonna be interesting.
Right. No way we're getting a DQ finish on pay-per-view. I don't see that happening at all. I figure if you put I don't know. I might change my mind by the time Double or Nothing comes, but I figure if you put Osprey in the championship match, you might as well give him the championship. We know the long-term vision is him facing Swerve Strickland at Wembley Stadium this year, for the World Championship. That should be his big moment. So, um, but there's no way this is going to be a DQ, and there's no way Will Ospreay's taking a clean loss to Roderick Strong. There's just no way that's happening. If it's he's going to lose, he's going to lose because of Don Callis, or he's going to win the championship. Those are the two options that they can go with for this match. But hey, I'm intrigued, and I'm happy they've got Will Ospreay in something pretty big. This is big in my opinion.
Oh
So,
yeah.
we'll see what happens. And then, speaking of Don Callis, Powerhouse Hobbs challenged John Moxley for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. I don't know about you, man. I was very excited to see this match after the angle they shot last week. And then they added that this match is going to be for the IWGP World Championship. I'm like, whoa, okay then. But I don't know, man. Did Hobbs get injured in this match?
I think he did legit get hurt because once he had that corner spot where he like ran into the road, like he did land awkwardly like into the turnbuckle, and you notice like I noticed on the outside that like when he was trying to pick Hobbs was like it looked like he was legit struggling to get up. I don't think this is like a worked like knee injury, and then like once Moxley was like he kind of had to like really trying to get Hobbs in the ring, and then he quickly hit the paradigm shift and then got the sleeper in, and then that was it. 1, 2, 3, or like he passed out or whatever. But yeah, I think, and then Doc Sampson also came in the ring after the match. So I think Hobbs shoot got hurt, and that sucks if that's the case because this was a big match for Hobbs, and it just sucks that it had to kind of end that way if that's the case. But
I don't know, man. Because I was taking care of my dog during the match, not during the match, but like in a portion of the match, and that was the portion of the match where I'm like, I'd come back and I seen Hobbs is holding his knee. I'm like, okay, he's selling. Apparently, he wasn't selling.
yeah,
So, um, all the best to Will Hobbs. That sucks. It really does. So I hope he's okay. After the match, Takeshita came out and stared down John Moxley. That's something I would love to see. Let's put that on the Double or Nothing card. On the Double or Nothing card, Takeshita versus John Moxley. Sign me up, dude. They could even do
I
that
will.
at Forbidden Door if they want.
Yeah, I will say I am happy that like coming out of this episode, we are seeing multiple matches being built up for Double or Nothing. We're like immediately getting into. I like that. I'm glad we're not trying to wait it out longer because again, you only have 4 weeks. So I'm happy to see that looks like we're getting multiple title matches set up for the pay per view next month to get ourselves invested already. Hopefully, again, these next few weeks they get us all invested into all these matches in a proper way, and they don't like try to rush anything or whatever. This kind of like do it in a timely manner and get us fully invested.
Yeah, and I also realized after tonight's episode that this faction needed Will Ospreay to come back quickly because they were a dead faction like for months, dude. And now Ospreay's on television. The Don Callis family is heavily involved on Dynamite. They're about to do a big angle where they're probably going to turn on Ospreay. They're probably going to turn on Fletcher too. So I don't know. They could be recruiting somebody. Who knows? But man, I like the direction of the Don Callis family right now.
Yeah, yeah, it's good. Yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, Ospreay coming back definitely rejuvenated this group. Yes, yeah. After all the Chris Jericho stuff, they just were not doing a whole lot. They were doing a whole lot of nothing. So it's nice to see that they're back into more of a hotter angle, and I especially love it for Takeshita because that dude should be in title matches. That guy should be on high profile programs for sure. So yeah, it's good to see.
Absolutely. All right. It's time to talk about the main event segment of this show, which was Tony Schiavone in the middle of the ring, bringing out Jack Perry. Jack Perry got chance of Crimea River, and by the way, the show started with the Young Bucks and Okada coming out of a limo, and then Jack Perry came out of the other limo. Uh, Young Bucks and Okada were in their suits. Jack Perry was not. Jack Perry was wearing a scapegoat shirt. Um, Definitely got Evolution vibes with this camera shot and then coming out of the limo. I know I'm not the only one because I saw the same thing on Twitter, but I definitely got Evolution vibes from this. Um, Tony Schiavone introduced Jack Perry. Jack Perry comes out to the ring. The crowd is mostly cheering for him. He's our scapegoat. He's our scapegoat. He talks about how some of the best moments of his life have been in Jacksonville, Florida, and he is very happy to be back. But we have to bury the hatchet and move on. And he says he's always wanted to do what is best for AEW. And he calls out Tony Khan to the middle of the ring. And he says, look, I know we've had our ups and downs, but I'm ready to move on, change the world, and what is it? Re-extend me?
Oh, reinstate, yeah.
Reinstate me. Okay. So move on from the past, change the world, and reinstate me. And Tony Khan shakes his hand. Jack Perry gives Tony Khan a hug in the middle of the ring. Jack Perry smirks at the camera. And when I heard that Jack Perry was going to be meeting with Tony in the ring, I'm like, something big is going to happen. And to me, this was big. This was really big because I think this is going to set up something big in the summer. Jack Perry smiled right at the camera when Tony was not looking at the camera, and he's raising Tony's hand. He's going to all the sides of the arena, and he gives Tony a gut punch in the middle of the ring with the microphone. The Young Bucks and Okada, they are going out there. They're like, "What the hell are you doing? He's our boss. You can't be doing that to him." The Young Bucks then go to pick him up. He is in a EVP trigger position, and the crowd's going, "Oh shit, here we go!" And they let Tony go. They help Tony up. They pick up Tony for the Tony Khan driver. They don't call it the Meltzer driver anymore. They call it the Tony Khan driver. And this was the safest Tony Khan driver they have ever hit in their entire careers. And Matt Jackson gently lets go of Tony Khan. Apparently, nobody wanted to come out and save Tony Khan from getting hit with the driver. Once he got hit, they came out, and everybody came out to check on him. The biggest part about this was Shad Khan was out there.
Yeah.
Tony Khan's dad was out in the middle of the ring. He looked pissed, and most of the locker room was out there to check on Tony, and that was the big angle they shot tonight. So, man, two things. This is going to get people talking, and this gets much needed, even more heat on the elite. That they have literally taken over the company Bullet Club style. Like, they have taken over AEW. And now we are going to be thinking about we're going to be asking ourselves questions for until next Wednesday. So they left you on a fantastic angle to end the show. And now guess what? Kenny Omega is coming back next week. He's going to be on the show in Winnipeg, in his hometown. People are going to want to tune in because what is Kenny Omega going to say about his former best friends taking out Tony Khan? That is going to be awesome. What did you think of this whole angle? And then I got a pitch for where I think I see this going.
Yeah, this is wild. Joseph, it's going to get a lot of people talking going into next week show in Winnipeg. Yeah, I feel like this was an angle that I'm hopefully should catapult AEW more, should give them more momentum. It's much needed momentum too. Again, it's just they're riding off of what they did with the All In footage, and I'm like I'm still gonna consider and say I'm gonna sit here and say that I wasn't a fan of them airing that footage.
No.
It was just stupid to do. It was just petty at the end of the day. No matter what anybody wants to say, no matter there are AEW super fans out there that said, "Oh, it was great. CM Punk is stupid, yada yada yada, whatever." No, it was just petty nonsense that didn't need to be aired, but that they are now taking full advantage of Jack Perry and the publicity that he has gotten off of all this, and what he's done in New Japan so far with the scapegoat gimmick, and clearly it's getting a reaction out of the crowd, and that's what you want. And it's not the kind of heel heat where it's like go away heat. This is like some genuine, tried and true heel heat. And if this is going to garner more attention for AEW across pro wrestling, then they're doing good business. And I mean, it's really hard to argue. I know there's going to be people out there that still detract this, and they're going to still argue against it. Whatever, you don't like it, then you got other platforms to watch that you feel more than happy to go watch. That's fine and all good. AEW is still going to do what they're doing, and this is an angle again. It's going to get people talking, and this is what they honestly. This is kind of a shot in the arm. I feel like they needed because a lot of they've been, like I've been saying before, like storytelling for quite some time now, and now we finally have something of huge substance here that they're going to continue to ride on with going into Double or Nothing, and probably even further than that. You said it great, Joseph. Like, this was Bullet Club style taking over. I mean, and the Young Bucks were also formerly in Bullet Club, so they know a thing or two about taking over. And so this is going to get the right amount of heel heat for the Bucks, Okada, and especially Jack Perry. And then Jack Perry is just continuing to ride this wave. And I think that's what you need to keep doing if you're going to continue to. If you're going to do this, you got to keep going with it. You can't just halt it or just stop it completely. Like, just continue to go on with it and make this faction the most hated faction of all of wrestling.
Yeah, this is going to lead, I think, from this segment, this is going all the way until we get to Wembley. That's my prediction. I'm thinking, I have no idea if Kenny Omega's cleared or not. I don't know. Maybe we'll find out next week. This might be me jumping ahead. I think this is going to lead to our blood and guts match this year. I think this leads to the Young Bucks, Okada, and Jack Perry against Kenny, Hangman Page. I was going to say FTR, but if they brung the Motor City Machine Guns in and they put them in this angle, man, that would be big for them. And then we can go to Wembley. We can get Okada and Omega for Okada's championship. If you want to put Hangman and Perry in a match together, great. I don't care. You could do the Bucks against the Motor City Machine Guns in Wembley. I think this is going to be a summer-long feud between the Elite and the guys who got kicked out of the Elite, and I think Tony Khan is going to assemble a team to take out the new Elite, and I think this is it. Hangman, Kenny, and the Motor City Machine Guns versus the Bucks, Okada, and Jack Perry. That's what I'm calling.
I like the sound of that a lot, man. I definitely could see that happening. I think this is going to be fun, man. I think we're going to be in for some riveting television coming out of this because, I mean, we've seen Tony Khan take a bump for the first time on television. They went after the CEO of AEW and Tony Khan. I mean, this is big stuff here, man. You don't just go and attack Tony Khan and you're just not going to face any consequences for it. There's going to be
Right.
some hammers thrown down. I think we're going to be in for something really, really big here, and I hope so, man. Because AEW, I want this to catapult them into another level, man, to where people can people can start talking about them more and more. It's getting them that publicity, because WWE's been riding a big wave since WrestleMania, ever since WrestleMania, and they got Cody as world champion. They got a lot of big stuff going on. They got the new bloodline with Solo Sikoa at the helm right now with Tama Tonga coming in. I think AEW definitely could use some momentum on their side to get people more interested too in what they're doing as well. And man, I'm here for it, man. Honestly, I am. I know there's some people out there that probably won't be for it. That's all fine and good. If you don't want to watch it, go and just go. Again, you got other wrestling platforms you can watch. There's plenty of wrestling out there. Go watch what you enjoy. But I'm gonna be over here watching this with close eyes, and I'm gonna be in it for the long haul, man.
Yeah, I can't wait. I feel like I'm fine with the storylines that's been going on, but they need something huge. This is huge. I think this has potential. I really do. And we're just gonna have to watch weekly. We're gonna have to be invested in the product and see what happens. So, um, ladies and gentlemen, that is your Dynamite review tonight with myself and Wesley Williams. We are going to wrap it up. Thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. Be sure to subscribe to the Big Fight Fuel channel. Comment down below your thoughts about everything that took place tonight. Hit the like button if you like what you heard from me. Follow me on Twitter at comment_Joseph. Man, busy day tomorrow. I'm going to be heavily active in the afternoon when I get out of work. We got game 3 between the New York Knicks and Philadelphia 76ers. And then tomorrow night's the NFL draft as well, which I'm very excited about. I love the draft. I can't wait. Wes, take us home, man.
And you can always follow me over on Instagram at the Real Wesley Snipes. You can also follow me over on TikTok with the same exact username again. Real Wesley Snipes. No TikTok. Supposedly, it's not going to be around very much longer because of the ban or whatever. But again, while it's still around, you can go follow me over there. Again, it's at the Real Wesley Snipes, and I'm also again on Instagram at the Real Wesley Snipes as well. Joseph, thank you so much for having me on tonight for an AEW Dynamite review. It's been a minute. Glad to be able to take time out of my Wednesday night to come talk AEW content with you. Big night tonight coming out of AEW Dynasty the past time. Forward to see where this huge elite angle goes and what we got going into Double or Nothing next month. I'm glad we got title matches set up for the pay-per-view next month. Should be a fun night in Vegas that we'll be tuned into next month. But again, Joseph, couldn't thank you enough for having me on the Big Five Field channel. It's always a pleasure.
Heck yeah, man. You're welcome to come on anytime, and you know that. And, we all got lives and we all got busy stuff going on. So, we all that, but you're always welcome to come on. So, all right, folks, that is it. Hope you guys enjoyed and have a good night. Stay safe. And as always, stay classy and always love wrestling. I'm out. Peace.